and welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty Plinderman. I'm an ADHD coach, and my passion is finding ways to tilt the playing field in favor of ADHD wired brains with ADHD friendly tips, tools, and resources. With that in mind, I invite you to check out my website, ADHD-Friendly.com, if you haven't had a chance to mosey on over and see what's in there. Lots of cool stuff, free resources, as well as information on my ADHD friendly membership community. This is episode 115. I'm going to be starting off with a celebration related to the conference. And then the conference I told you I attended, the 2023 annual ADHD conference in Baltimore in the beginning of December. So I just had a chance to kind of process through all of that. I'm going to be sharing some celebrations from that. Then I have some sparkly kicking off the new year. Happy New Year, by the way. ADHD-friendly tools. And then I'm going to be doing a review, a 2023 year in review that's going to inform my 2024. And I'll talk more about that when I get there. So let's jump into my celebration. So conference wins. Oh my gosh. Even as I record this, it's not that long since I got back from the conference, but I just keep kind of going through and noticing and growing my awareness of what I learned, what I would do differently, what I would repeat, and just kind of capturing it. So with that in mind, I'm going to share my wins. So I'm celebrating. I got there, drove from Chicago to Baltimore on a Wednesday, the day before the conference started, and had a beautiful drive. Absolutely zero traffic. I'm not going to go into the people listening going, oh my gosh, she's really backing up. And it was a cold day when I was born. But no, it was just a uneventful drive, which never happens when I'm driving from Chicago to the East Coast. No construction, no traffic, no weather. Beautiful. Made it in great time. It was just fabulous. My daughter came with me. We had great conversation and listened to music, and she did her thing. I listened to my book for a period of time. It was just great. Made good connections at the conference. Thank you to anyone listening that visited my booth. Thank you. I just had such a great time chatting with everybody that came over and asked about what I was doing and about my ADHD friendly membership community. Welcome all of my new members. I'm so excited to have you join in, and just a lot of fun interacting with people. I always say, like, it's just a very unique environment to connect with people who we all get each other, and it's a very judgment-free zone. So it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and I had on display my ADHD-friendly planner that I was giving out as a welcome gift to anybody that joined the ADHD-friendly membership community during the conference. And what I was not expecting and completely unprepared for was how many people wanted to buy it. It's really shocking and very flattering. So I actually had one, I don't want to say stolen, but it went away. Somebody left a Hershey Kiss in its place. So I don't know if it was some kind of a barter arrangement that I wasn't in on, but it never came back. And I was a little sad about that, but I'd like to just kind of shift that perspective to seeing it maybe as the person really needed a planning tool and they felt like this was it and they couldn't go another moment without it. I don't know, but I came back reinvigorated and decided I'm going to offer the month planner. It'll just be a layout of 1 month on my website, ADHD Friendly, for sale. So I invite you to check it out. I'm hoping it'll be up by the time this episode airs. If not, it'll be up there shortly. So check back, but hopefully my goal works and it gets up there by the time this airs. All right, so those are my conference wins. So now on to my ADHD friendly tools. All right, I've got too many things going on here, too many pieces of paper. That's what I got to do to support my brain, people. I have to see what I'm sharing, otherwise I forget where I am. I'm lost in space. All right, so my first tool that I use every year is my Don't Break the Chain tool. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is a picture pretty much the entire year. It goes right up until mid-December. But you can see I checked off, this was my tracking, getting outside 23 minutes every day of 2023. And I did that with the exception of, where is it? It was in July. Oh, here it is. In July. In July, I was sick here. In here, I was 2 days sick. I missed 2 days. But what I loved about this, the power of the don't break the chain, is because I had months leading up to it. Those 2 sick days in July were not enough to throw me off. I picked it right back up and kept going through the end of the year. So I love, love, love my don't break the chain calendar. So I already have my 2024 yearly calendar and planner. I just take this and I pin it up on my wall, and it's just like an invitation to keep the chain going from the year before. So again, this should also be up in the ADHD Friendly shop. If you visit ADHD-Friendly.com, you should be able to get your 2024 calendar to support you to not break the chain or to see your time in a more concrete, visible way. As a little reminder for things I do sell from my Amazon portion of the shop, I am an Amazon associate, and I do potentially benefit financially. It does not change the price of the product, but there is, I just want to be really transparent that I could get a little bit small, but it is part of it. So it doesn't impact the price, but I want to be really transparent about my benefiting from that purchase in any way. All right. And then my other ADHD friendly tool for 2024 that I want to highlight again is my 2024 desk calendar. And here's a picture of me. This is with all of my calendar pages behind me when I was using it. And I still actually do use it for this purpose, to track my yoga habit. I do yoga Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday mornings for at least 5 minutes. And I check off every day I do it. I have not missed a single day since I think it was October. Yep, October of 2021. What? That is insane to me. I can't believe it as I say it. And in large part, it's due to this large desk calendar. I keep this on my calendar, so when I come in the morning and I sit down at my desk, I can see where I am. I cross off the days and I keep track. I think I'm on week 100 and I'm not sure. I think it's like 118. It's crazy. But every year goes into the next. I save all these sheets. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them yet, but I keep rolling them up and saving them every month when I take it off and share the month behind it. So this is a 14-month calendar. You can see it starts with November. I haven't opened this one yet. I am just now in my office setting up for 2024. So that is going to be unveiled today. Super excited. So those are my ADHD friendly tools, just two really habit forming and making time external and concrete tools to help see what's coming up with a little bit more ease. They're two of my favorites. Again, they should have the updated 2024 versions in my ADHD-Friendly.com shop if you want to check them out. Hello, friends. I'm ADHD Friendly Girl. Are you overwhelmed, unmotivated, run down? Do you stop before you start? The answer to your challenges can be found at ADHD Friendly. ADHD Friendly is where we make the doing easier. Join ADHD Friendly today and start tilting the playing field in favor of your ADHD brain and start thriving. ADHDfriendly.com, where intention meets action. Now for the main topic for this episode. It's my 2023 year in review, and I'm really going to be focusing in on the 23 things that I intended to do in 2023, and I made my list for that, and I'm going to recap how my list went. And I shared before, what really worked for me primarily was all of my visual tools, because in the past, what I would do is I make a list and I put it in a file, and I would completely forget about that list until the following year when I went to look at my list to put the next year's list in there. And I was like, oh, I forgot I wanted to do that. So I know I need to have it very visual, very concrete and external so I can see it. So I have a bulletin board that's about 30 inches by 48 inches. And I print out my 8.5 by 11 lists where I pin them up on the board and I can see them all in one place. And it just pulls me. I walk past it. It's right outside my office. I walk past it every day. And I literally am like, oh, I read a book. Let me write that down. Or, oh, I did a social activity. Let me write that down. Because some things I make tied to the number. So I had a goal of reading 23 books in 2023. And I'm going to start with that celebration. So I didn't read 23 books in 2023. And this still is just blowing my mind. I read 60 books in 2023. That is such a huge jump for me. I was averaging on a good year 20 to 24 books a year. And the visual really was helpful, but what was an absolute game changer was I created a pocket of time to read every single morning. I did this back in April. I stopped watching the news because I realized it was really draining my energy and it wasn't supporting me. And so I took that pocket of time and I carved out reading time. And I do it every single morning. My kids and my family know, my husband knows this is like me time. It is my precious self-care time. It is my favorite time of the day. I sit with my coffee, I have my book, and I just read. And that routine literally has created such a turnaround in how I use that time. And it's what led to me being able to have the space of time to read 60 books. So I have this visual. I made this in August of 2021. And again, if you're listening to this, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, ADHD-Friendly, where you can see all this on the video. So I did a slide for my personal owner's manual, I did it for Club Palm, sorry, for members that finished my personal owner's manual group back in 2021. I shared that I read about 20 or 24 books, and I wanted to see what that looked like over time. So I made a tool that I could track and write down the books. And I pretty much figured, this would be maybe, 2 or 3 pages for the rest of my life of books I can read. And it kind of made it like more important to pick books more intentionally. And now that I'm reading 60 books, and it wasn't even hard to read the 60 books this year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could like fill a sheet a year almost. Like, it's insane how much more I'm able to read just because I decided to stop watching the news in the morning. It just opened up so much more sparkly time that instead of draining my energy and leaving me kind of like doom and gloom, it just gave me energy and got me excited about the day. So that's my big win that I want to start by acknowledging from my 23 and 23 list. The next huge win was, so I just wanted to share. I have my 23 and 23 list that I hung up on my bulletin board. You can see like all the holes that are poked in it from how many times I had to rehang it. I filled up 3 pages of books. Like, it just kept going. It was so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to do my official thumbs up to reading. Like, I stinking love it. It gives me so much. It's one of my greatest passions, and I just have to give it a big thumbs up. So thumbs up to reading. All right. My other big win was my social win. So I had a goal of having 23 social connections, as much as possible right here near where I am, and in person, because I really was trying to intentionally make more friends locally. A couple of these were not from local, but if they required me to exert effort to be social, I got to count it, because some of them were hard, like at the conference. I had to literally show up and talk to people about my membership community. And that was really uncomfortable because I've never talked about it with people that I've not worked with before. So that was a very challenging experience. And it ended up being much more comfortable as the conference went on. It still required me to step outside my comfort zone. So I allowed myself to count that, because I met a lot of people and had a lot of great conversations, and actually had that experience where I was like, okay, apparently I can social if I allow myself to put myself out there. And I do think that my interaction socially that I've intentionally put in place over the last 2 years really helped me to show up at the conference and not get overwhelmed the way I think I would have if I wasn't intentionally working on it. So instead of 23, I had 31 social things, more than twice a month. I made a connection, something intentional socially. And that is such a huge win for me. And again, that was one of the ones hanging on my board right outside my office door that I got to see every single time. My other big win came with all of my my health priorities for 2023. I got all of my my physical, my checkups, my eyes examined, my teeth cleaned. I got everything checked off. And that was a big win. However, I did find it really draining when I thought about the fact that almost all of them will be repeated again this year. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to start all over again. I kind of wanted to be checked off. I didn't want to have to put them back on a list. But then I thought, okay, maybe I can find a way to combine a couple on the same day. So instead of asking myself, because it was like I did my physical in February, then I got my eyes examined in March. I got my teeth cleaned in April. It was like every month there was something I had to keep up with, which I do realize is not a lot. I've got a couple of friends that have more ongoing health challenges and have a lot of appointments, and they're not even an end in sight, and very frustrating. So I am mindful of that. I don't want to sound ungrateful that, I was going really to preventative appointments, and thankfully nothing revealed anything that required additional follow-up. But I am trying to support myself to manage how much energy I need to keep up with these so that I don't start letting them slide and not going. And so I'm just going to try to see if I can maybe do my eye exam and maybe my teeth cleaning on the same day, or just look for those opportunities where I can schedule maybe 2 things on the same day. So I'm getting them checked off a little bit more efficiently. And then so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to really highlight that worked well. So now I want to share what didn't work, because, not everything goes exactly to plan. And what I was surprising was, as much as I love knitting, and, I've shared how much I really do love to knit, I do think how much I read is reflected in how it impacted my time to knit. So I did not get my 23 projects done. And if you're a serious knitter, you're probably listening to this and maybe, thinking 23, please, I do that in, a month or 2, whatever. That was a stretch goal for me. I really was intending to finish. I did not get that many done. I got 16 or 17 projects finished in all of 2023. So more than one a month, but not the level I was hoping for. So I'm going to try to, again, intentionally listen to more books where I can, so I can knit and listen at the same time, and see if that helps to keep the reading going and the knitting not falling off. And then I didn't switch cell phone providers. That was a big kind of downer. I did not switch cell phone providers. That still has to happen. So that's getting pushed into the 24 and 2024 lists. I also didn't hire my Alice. And if you're a regular listening to the podcast, my Alice is just what I call the person that I want to outsource my cleaning to. I just want that so much. So I'm going to, I acknowledge that we had to replace our roof, our double oven broke, we had to replace that, we had to get another car. So it just wasn't in the cards yet. I'm not letting it go. I'm hoping that 2024 will be the year of my Alice, my person that I can outsource the cleaning to at least once a month, so that it's, feeling a little bit less pressure on me to do it. Okay. And then what I do is, after I go through my list and see what do I want to celebrate, which I did, and what didn't go as well, which I noted, then I go through my list and see what do I want to bring forward. So I now have a 24 in 2024 list. And this is where I'll invite you to explore if this idea is sparkly to you, if it creates some structure around what you're aiming to do in 2024. It is just a different way to look at the goal setting, that some of us really don't resonate with that. It could just be a lighter way to look at it, or just kind of like, I want to only put 24 fun things. They may not be tasks or chores or projects you want to get done. It might be, I want to plan 24 experiences with my friends and family members over the year, whatever it is, right? So make it work for you. But so my first step was to decide what to bring forward. What didn't get done in 2023 that I really want to support myself to get checked off in 2024. The next thing I do is decide, what am I going to continue or repeat? So I'm repeating the books. I'm repeating the, I already forgot the social. I'm repeating the knitting goal. But then there's some things I'm letting go of that I don't want to hold on and repeat. So I intentionally look at my list and be like, yeah, I don't want that on my list. I no longer want to hold myself accountable to do that. So that's the next thing I look at, is just, what do I want to let go of? What don't I want to do? And then the last piece is, now with the spaces I have left, what do I want to add? What's sparkly in 2024? And so I'll share a couple of my new ones that are very exciting to me. So instead of 23 minutes outside in 2023, which for me was really 23 active minutes, I didn't want to just be outside. I wanted to be doing something, whether it's gardening or pulling weeds or going for a walk. It was 23 active minutes outside. And so I'm going to try, I'm a little nervous about this, but I'm going to try to commit to doing, I'm trying to think how to say this, to being outside and walking or stepping the equivalent of 2.4 miles while I'm outside every day. But I'm only going to ask myself to do that for 342 days. So that's basically 24 days I get a pass. So if the weather's atrocious, if I'm traveling and I literally just can't get outside, I'm going to give myself 24 days that I can just say, nope, it's not happening today. And it still aligns with my goal of it won't get in the way of me achieving the 342 days. I could do 342 days in a row and then literally take the last month and a half off. Whatever it is, I'm giving myself permission to take 24 days in 2024 off. And I'm going to try to strive for 342 days of 2.4 miles equivalent, either, walking around the yard, gardening, whatever it is, but that active goal instead of just 23 minutes outside. So 2.4 with Sparkly, bringing in that 24 in the 2.4. The other things I'm adding are, I want to explore once a month, one day trip a month, 12 different areas that I've not been to around me. I went to lunch with a friend a little bit ago, and we went to St. Charles, which I went to when I was first taking a knitting class when I first moved here, but I really didn't explore the area. And so we went and we did that, and it was a lot of fun. And it made me really reconnect to a plan that I had for a couple of the previous years, which is to just explore some other local areas. So I thought, what if I just did 12, just once a month, find a weekend, go on a day trip. Maybe there's an estate sale in a different town I can go to, and then maybe grab lunch. Just make it interesting, easy, and just get to these different places around me, because I've been in Illinois now 5 years and I still haven't seen most of the cities or the little towns around me, and I want to. Two more things I'm going to share. First is I'm going to add strength training. So I've done a really good job of keeping up with my intention to walk every day, and I've done a really good job of keeping up with my intention to do yoga 4 days a week. What I haven't been able to incorporate yet is strength training. And I have injured my knee, I've injured my shoulder, I've needed PT to support these areas. And I know part of that is because I don't have strength training in my routine. So I am going to add strength training once a week for 5 minutes. That's it. I can do more if I want, but if at the end of 2024, I have done 52 weeks of once a week strength training, that is so much more than I'm doing now. So that's my intention. I put that on my list. And my last is probably my scariest 24 item of the 24 items on my list. The scariest is I'm going to challenge myself to go to the movies once by myself. I've never done that before. That is way outside my comfort zone. Even thinking about it, I get a little break out in a little bit of a sweat, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to just pick a movie I really want to see that I could go and tolerate seeing it by myself. I'm just going to go. I'm going to do it. So look forward to that celebration at some point in 2024. All right, that's it. That's all for my 24 and 24 list. I invite you, if you try making one of your own, I'd love to hear what sparkly things you included on yours, and also how you're going to track it. How are you going to keep it visible? Remember, external, concrete, and visible, so you can see your intentions to make it more likely you're going to be able to follow through with them. All right, I have one quote for the beginning of the year from my handy dandy trusty book, Excellent Advice for Living by Kevin Kelly. This is the best time ever to make something. None of the greatest, coolest creations 20 years from now have been invented yet. You're not too late. Happy New Year. That's all for this episode. Again, episode 115. For anything that you want to post in the show notes or follow, if you haven't already, I'd love to have you follow the podcast. And as with everything I share, if it works for you, I hope you take it and run with it. If it doesn't, I hope you leave it behind and give yourself permission to let it go. This is all about taking what works for you and leaving the rest behind. That's what ADHD-Friendly Living is all about, ADHD-Friendly.com. If you haven't checked out my membership community, I invite you to do that. I would love to have you join. Until next time, tally ho.